With this unexpected respite in Tell Your Tale's relief schedule, I thought now was as good a time as any to briefly rate every Tell Your Tale episode we've had thus far, which at this time would be up to episode 43. I'm also going to make a graph at the end that displays any overtime trends in the show's quality. So without further ado, Episode 1, Sisters Take Flight. The Royal Sisters' relationship is cute, it's fun to see their contrasting reactions to attention, and the Pegasi having trouble with flight is a rare case of continuity with the movie. 4 out of 5. Episode 2, A Home to Share. It's a lesser repeat of Castle Sweet Castle, and the show tries to artificially generate development for Sunny by bringing up her dead Disney dad. 2 out of 5. Episode 3, Zipp's Flight School. Zipp's introverted personality receives way more attention than in the movie, and she finally starts to feel like a real character. 4 out of 5. Episode 4, Nightmare Roommate. A story about boundaries gets tagged with a sort of relevant lesson about honesty. Hitch's Best Boy. 3 out of 5. Episode 5, Welcome to Main Melody. Still Tell Your Tale's best song, no matter how many times they replay it. For the first time, we get to see Pip using her skills to influence ponies in a positive way. 4.5 out of 5. Episode 6, The Unboxing of Izzy. Hitch's first episode is surprisingly unremarkable. 2.5 out of 5. Episode 7, Fool Me Once. Hitch's second episode showcases everything that makes him great and gives me false hope that Tell Your Tale Hitch will be every bit as good as movie Hitch. 4.5 out of 5. Episode 8, Clip Trot. Pip learns the value of being yourself rather than following trends. The song is pretty decent. 3.5 out of 5. Episode 9, It's TUES Day. Izzy is lonely and makes a creepy unicorn puppet. Posy abuse starts to get bad. 3.5 out of 5. Episode 10, Sunny Day Dinners. Racism finally gets mentioned, and we get to leave town for one episode. 4 out of 5. Episode 11, Maritime Bay Day 2.0. Pip is 100% lovable, but they end the episode by playing an old and completely irrelevant song. 2 out of 5. Episode 12, The Game is a Hoof. They try to repeat Fool Me Once, but Zipp sucks at being a detective. 2 out of 5. Episode 13, Dumpster Diving. The song slaps, but Izzy is a horrible pony. 2.5 out of 5. Episode 14, Alicorn Issues. Sunny gets awesome powers and Hitch gives great advice. 3.5 out of 5. Episode 15, Making a Fool of Me. Zipp and Pip are best sisters. 4 out of 5. Episode 16, Nay Fever. The conflict raised by the episode's premise, a florist navigating a world where suddenly every pony can grow flowers at will, is never resolved. 2 out of 5. Episode 17, Queens for a Day. Another unremarkable episode that just doesn't make me feel anything. 2.5 out of 5. Episode 18, On Your Cutie Marks. The world building sucks, and they accidentally make Starlight's town a reality. This is where I started getting fed up with Tell Your Tale. 1 out of 5. Episode 19, Lost in Translation. A solid Hitch episode with a fun song, but the ending is rushed. 4 out of 5. Episode 20, One Trick Pony. The episode chooses to focus on Rufus learning to use Earth Pony magic, when it should have been about him finding a place in a world where real magic makes ponies less perceptive to his sleight of hoof tricks. 2.5 out of 5. Episode 21, My Bananas. We see Sunny's insecurities as well as Pip's ability to inspire ponies. 4 out of 5. Episode 22, Zipp's Yes Day. They changed the thumbnail to make it about Zipp instead of Posy, but the Posy abuse in this episode is still egregious. However, Zipp's grumpy personality makes for another interesting episode. 3.5 out of 5. Episode 23, Another Pony's Trash. Posy's character regresses and Sunny gets political authority with no explanation. 2 out of 5. Episode 24, Star Scout Code. A hugely important, detailed prophecy about the main five is mentioned once and never explained or referenced again. 1 out of 5. Episode 25, Pony Party. They tell the same story as A Home to Share, and Izzy has a glitter cannon. 2 out of 5. Episode 26, Pup Hunt. A soulless episode ends on a distasteful fart joke. 1.5 out of 5. Episode 27, All That Jazz. A celebration of art in all its forms. This is a near-perfect slice-of-life episode about an interesting side character. 4.5 out of 5. Episode 28, Pip Squeaks Forever. A good idea, fan interaction, gets ruined by a terrible beard joke and stalker behavior. 2.5 out of 5. Episode 29, Dragon Dad. A boring episode that repeats ideas out of Make Your Mark Chapter 2, which had just aired at the time. 2 out of 5. Episode 30, Nightmare Night Party. The plot is a repeat of all 8 Make Your Mark Chapter 2 episodes, as well as the last Tell Your Tale episode, but the costumes and the song make up for it. 3 out of 5. Episode 31, Haunted House. Same plot as the last 2 episodes, a fart joke and posy abuse. 1.5 out of 5. Episode 32, Baby Critters, a soulless episode with a poop joke. This is where I quit making videos about Tell Your Tale. 1.5 out of 5. Episode 33, Philly Filling. Interesting development for Pip, but the episode is sabotaged by its inability to follow any chain of logical progression. 3 out of 5. Episode 34, Sneaksy Strikes Again. Another celebration of art with a great song. The episode even shows Izzy's positive side, but it suffers for a bizarre scene where Queen Haven steals a wall without permission, compensation, or political fallout. 3.5 out of 5. Episode 35, Panic on Harvest and Hugs Day. The chaos and screaming gets old, but it is fun watching Pip panic. 2.5 out of 5. Episode 36, Take Flight in the Mare Stream. Team Zipsy is great. 4 out of 5. Episode 37, no pun intended. No pony is trying to abuse Posy, and she does nothing mean to them. To an extent, the cycle of hate is broken, but she still suffers a lot of abuse, and she clearly didn't want to be there. 2.5 out of 5. Episode 38, Full Food. The sound mixing is awful, and I don't even like the music. However, Sunny does something nice for her friends and learns about other ponies' customs. 3 out of 5. Episode 39, Under the Misty Toe. Misty and Opaline are stuck in a time loop. 1.5 out of 5. Episode 40, Secret Canter. There's a fart joke, and the ponies are pathetically bad at keeping secrets. 2 out of 5. Episode 41, A Day in the Life. Great song, Pip cares about her fans, Hitch cares about his friends. 4 out of 5. Episode 42, Lost in the Woods. Everything that happened in all the Tell Your Tale episodes happens again. 2 out of 5. Episode 43, Bridalwood Spog. It's a story about overcoming superiority complexes and giving foreign cultures a fair chance. It is somewhat ruined by capitalism. 3 out of 5. Now, what have I decided to do with all these numbers? Math, of course. I've made a scatter plot, which would show the quality of the show over time as episodes have progressed. Now, of course, this is all subjective, but I think we can see the trend pretty easily. There are a lot of high-scoring episodes early on and a lot of low-scoring episodes later on. There's been a general decline in the quality of the show. Now, I want to point out a few key turning points. Right here, we have the episode on your cutie marks. Now, this was the episode where I started to turn against not only Tell Your Tale, but also G5 as a whole. Now, we'd had several 2 out of 5 episodes shortly before, and then this 1 out of 5 is just so bad compared with what I had come to expect from the show. Lots of 4s, 3.5s. It was kind of shocking. And so, yes, that was something of a turning point for me. However, looking at the graph, actually I found I didn't realize how important this was at the time, but here we have Zipp's Yes Day, the last 4 in a long time. And here we have Another Pony's Trash. Now, Another Pony's Trash was, according to this graph, the start of a long series of really bad episodes. If we ignore an extreme outlier here, All That Jazz, pretty much everything around All That Jazz is trash. I mean, before Another Pony's Trash, we only had 1 episode that was below a 2. And after, we have 5 such episodes. And on the top end of the graph, before Another Pony's Trash, we had lots of episodes at 3.5, 4, or 4.5. Afterwards, we only have 1 4.5, 2 4s, and 1 3.5. Meaning that after a certain point in the show, we only had 4 episodes that made a 3 or more. That made more than a 3. 3 isn't that great, but the show can't seem to break that barrier very often, which is pretty terrible. Now, one trend that kind of surprised me here, it looks like here-ish, which I think would be August, September, maybe October in the show's run, we see a lot of really terrible episodes all in a row. And then recently, okay, right here is Baby Critters, which was when I stopped doing Tell Your Tale review videos. It's obvious why. So many bad episodes in a row. And then we see the show maybe get a little better. Ever since I stopped doing reviews, I've kind of felt like, wow, suddenly the show decided to get good again. And it didn't really get good. I mean, we're still looking at maybe a 3 on average. There's some below, some above, maybe even a 2.5 on average. It's not great, but it's doing better than it was for a while here. So we may be on the way to recovering from the worst points. Right here is the Star Scout code, which seems to be pretty central to this downward dip. We may be on the way to recovery, which would be interesting. Now, beyond just talking about the shape of this graph, I also did some more detailed math on it. So here we have the best fit line for this data. As you can see, it's trending downwards. Now, how fast is it trending downwards? Well, the slope is negative 0.021, which means that for every episode, we lose an average of 0.021 points on its rating. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but across the show's 43 episode run, we see a decrease of almost an entire point. We go from an average at the beginning of about 3.3 to now 2.4. Now, if we just round those a little bit, if in the beginning I was giving 3.5 as a typical score, and now I'm giving 2.5, that is a world of difference. If you've watched my videos, you know how much more I like a 3.5 episode than a 2.5 episode. This is astronomical. The show has obviously gotten worse. Now, one thing to talk about here, obviously there's a lot of spread. There's a lot of outliers on both sides. So, how strong is this line correlated with the data? Well, the R-square value, if you're familiar with math, is 0.069, which isn't very big. But I actually decided to look at the p-value in this case, which is 0.0882. We're just going to round that to 0.09 for conversation's sake. This means that there's a 9% chance that this data is actually just random. That the random variation in good episodes versus bad episodes is what's explaining this trend, that it's not actually a trend at all, that the show isn't getting worse, but that it's just that, you know, there's some good ones and some bad ones, and we just happen to see this shape. Now, 9% doesn't sound like a lot, but actually, in science, we want a p-value of 0.05 or less, often even 0.01 or less. But in a lot of more abstract conversations and fields, say like looking at overall societal trends or the quality of a show over time, we're generally a little more lenient and maybe have a p-value of 0.1, meaning that we would want to see less than 10% chance of this being random in order to declare, yes, this is significant and it's probably actually, there's something causing this. So with a p-value of 0.09, yeah, I'm going to say this is statistically significant. The math says that something is going wrong with this show. Now, what does that mean for the future? I don't know. Like I said, it kind of looks like there may be something of an upwards trend in the last few months. And I'm hopeful. With bi-weekly release schedules, maybe the writers will actually take the time to think about these episodes instead of just pooping something onto the page like they have for some of the recent episodes. I still want G5 to succeed, however much I bash on it. So maybe we'll see the show improving. That's all for me. Peace out.